Welcome back to Advanced PLC Programming, and today I'm going to make a template file in Studio 5000. I'm going to set up a file and save it as my template, and then for all the future labs I'm going to start with this template, and that's going to keep me organized and help me save some time down the road. Okay, the first thing I need to do is create a new Studio 5000 file, and I've already started it actually. So I'm calling it template, and hit next. 7-slot chassis, the controller's in slot 0, so we're good to go there, and I'll just start that. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm working on the instructor's workstation, but the instructor's trainer, for whatever reason, is different than all the other trainers in the lab. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to the PLC over here on this first workstation, and I'm going to use the trainer that matches all the other trainers in the lab. I've got my Studio 5000 up and running, and this is a blank file. I started with nothing in it. First thing I want to do is go online with that PLC. So I'll go Communication, Who Active, and I'm using Ethernet IP to communicate, and that PLC is 10.4.56.35. So I need to go find number 35. Here it is right here. That's the Ethernet card. Then the backplane, expand that, and click on the controller, and now I can go online. I'm online with the controller. I've got some green lights. I have the I/O not present because I haven't configured any modules, so I'll just go ahead and do that. Discover module. And I'll do my first one. And my first one are inputs, second are output, and the third is analog. So I'm just going to call that in. And it added it there, called it in. One more discover module. Call this guy out. Out. People say I have a Canadian accent for some reason. So in Canada we say out instead of out, or however they say it here in America. Okay, and one more, discover module. And this third one is my analog. Now I've got I'm just using the first three modules. I'm not using the rest of the PLC. If I go up to controller tags, and here's my local 3, local 2, local 1. So there's all my inputs and outputs. So that's good so far. I'm going to go save. And I've got that saved. Let's go over and take a look at that trainer that we're going to use. Here's the trainer, and notice how everything's labeled. So the e-stop, that's an input, and it's in number 15. These buttons, these are actually both buttons and lights. So it's both an input. When I push the button, I get an input, and when I send a signal to this output location, they'll turn on this light. So I've got input 0, input 1, input 2, input 3. I've also got outputs 0, 1, 2, and 3 on this row. Over here I've got some switches. A switch can only be an input. There's nothing to light up. And those I latch on and off. Here's some more lights and buttons, some more switches. I've got a couple of analog devices, and I've got my motors are outputs. This analog is an input, so I've got a little potentiometer wired in here. I've got a gauge for an analog output, and I'm not going to use this stuff over here. That's for a different lab. So what I want to do is I want to use all of this. I'm going to be using this trainer for many different labs throughout the semester. I'm going to be doing a bunch of different things, but we only have one trainer for each workstation. So I want to set up my template file so everything's ready to go for each lab that I do, and I don't have to go through and create my aliases again and my addresses, because it's a little bit tedious. Okay, let's go look back at Studio 5000. So here are my controller tags, and here are all my addresses. Local 1 input, and I want to go to the data, and there's all my inputs for that card. But as I said in the previous lecture, I don't want to use these addresses because they're too hard to remember. I want to make aliases. So I'm going to go and I'm going to put them down in my main program instead of in controller tags. So I'm going to expand main program, go to parameters and local tags, and I'm going to edit my tags, and I'll do that first row of lights and buttons. So my first one, I'm going to call it light upper blue. So that's my light on the top row. It's a light, it's an upper on the upper row, and it's blue. So I know exactly which light that's going to be. And that's my alias for, remember, a light is an output, so it's output 0. So if I go to my aliases, I know that my output card is on slot 2. So local 2 output, I'll expand that, click on data, and click on this down arrow, and that guy has to be 0. So I've got light upper blue is the alias for local 2 data 0. Now I'll go light upper green. That's the alias for local output, local 2 output, and that's in location 1. I'll do this switch. So I'm going to call it switch. I'm going to call it switch 8 because all those switches look the same. And that's an alias for the switch is an input. So local 1 input data, and that's 8. All right, I've got a start on my template. Before I go any further, I'm going to test it. So I'm going to go offline. I'm going to go to my main routine, and I'll put in an input and an output. So for my input, I'm going to use my switch 8. And for my output, well, I'm going to do something different here, something you can't do with the Slick 500. I'm going to put 2 outputs in series. And with Studio 5000, I can do that. So I'm going to do light upper blue and light upper green. And I'll check to see if my logic is good. I'll click on my little verify routine checkbox, and I don't get any errors. So that's good. So I can do these in series outputs. Now let me go back online. And it has to download this program. Remember, don't upload. If you upload, you're going to take whatever's in the PLC and overwrite what you have in Studio 5000. And that could be kind of a problem. So we normally want to download. And I'm done downloading. Change it back to run. Now I'll look over here. I've got my 3 green lights. That's important. And I've got my green bar here. So that's important. So it looks like everything's good. Now I'm going to go move that switch 8 and that should turn my logic green here, and my output should go green, and the lights on the trainer should go on. Let's see if it works. And here's my switch 8. When I turn that guy, both of those lights come on. So my logic is good. Let me go check on my Studio 5000. When I turn that switch, this goes green and my outputs go green. So my aliases are good. Okay, I'll just go offline. And I'll go back to my local tags, back into edit tags. Now what I need to do, let's go back to the trainer. I need to make aliases for all of these inputs and all of these outputs, and then I should test them to make sure they're all working. And then I'm going to save that as my template file because it's a little bit tedious. I'm not going to have you watch while I do all these inputs, but it's a little tedious to type in all the names and aliases for all your inputs and outputs. Once you have it done and you test it, make sure you got everything linked properly, then you know that you're golden and you can use that for all of your future labs when you're working in the lab. Now in the lab here, all of the trainers are the same, and the PLCs, for the most part, they're all the same. At least the first 3 slots are all the same in the lab. So you can make one template file, and then whatever trainer you're working on in the lab, you'll be able to use that. Okay, that's all it is for setting up your template file. And that's one of our lab assignments. Okay, thanks.